Okay, week in review 8/22/22. The comments and the week in review I am going to separate, but today I'm not going to do that. Today I'm going to keep it the way it's been because I still haven't figured out in my head how I actually want that to happen. Meaning, what day is going to be Friday? Is it going to be Sunday? I think Friday will I address the comments. So basically, I'd do this video on Monday, and then on Friday, I'd go through the comments and spend more time in the comments. So for this one, though, it's going to stay as is, comments and the week in review. Starting off with Ryan Moody. Ryan is he's been around for a very long time, and he's the dude who used to have this jump. He used to jump really high on boxes, and he had a little program that went with it. Right? I think it's the same, Ryan. If you were to create a combine of sorts to determine the most explosive athlete across any and all sport, what movements would you want to see tested? That's a great question. Something I need to sit on and think. But interestingly, like to test explosiveness, I think the clean and jerk and the snatch do a really good job of doing that. So I would like to put more thought into that. I just pulled this up right now and saw this, but I think starting with in testing anyone for explosiveness as an athlete, the clean and jerk and snatch are a great ways to do that. Obviously, they're prohibitive in the sense of technique, meaning someone like, let's take LeBron James. He probably cleans, but probably when I say clean and snatch, I mean squat clean and squat snatch. Probably doesn't do stuff like that. So there's athletes who are very explosive that to actually test them in these movements the way I'm suggesting, they'd actually have to have a good understanding of how to do the movement and have good technique to really maximize what I see as the test of explosiveness. But again, Ryan, I'd like to think a little more on that one. Liz, thanks, Dave. Thanks for all you do. What do you eat in an average day? Do you cook? Do you weigh and measure? Or do you eat more intuitively? What sort of calories, macros do you consume? And more, Doug, please. So I typically, I just eat really low carb right now. Sometimes I am trying to be in a state of ketosis, and I do measure my ketones when I'm trying to do that. Right now, I'm not. Right now, I just minimize the amount of carb intake I take and a lot of fat. In the past, I have weighed and measured hardcore zone for a number of years, saw great results off of it, but just mixing it up and trying something different. Big picture, for the most part, I eat super low carb or more low carb. I'm in the more low carb camp relative to the prescriptions that modern society has. So when I first got involved with CrossFit, that's when I started experimenting with lower carb diets, then the zone, and then since then it's always been something with not a lot of carbs in general. I don't cook for myself. I have recently because my wife had knee surgery, but for the most part, she does most of the cooking. So Spencer Smith, good for you, Dave. You shouldn't need to apologize for being friends with Greg. Not enough people appreciate all he did for the thousands, if not millions of people. His methodology has positively impacted, and he certainly isn't racist. I agree. Thank you. Dan Guerrero, Sevon hurts deeply inside when you say it's always good seeing Greg. Yes, he does. Eric Utley, what are your thoughts on getting CrossFit kids, teens more ingrained into schools as part of physical education? Doing so would have the potential to change the health of our nation and potentially the world. As you know, obesity is one of the top health issues in the U.S., and starting in schools would be a game changer. What would it take to get CrossFit adopted in school PE programs? I agree with you. I think if we could penetrate and get CrossFit more exposed to youth and in school programs, it'd be a great thing. But it's not, and Greg has always said this, and I truly believe it. Most of these programs aren't top down, and when they do come from the top down, there's a lot of resistance. So what I mean when I say that, what he meant when he said that is there has to be some organic nature, or there has to be some ambassadors, essentially, some people who are really big supporters of CrossFit in the programs to help build them from the ground up. And there are a lot of schools, not a lot, let me say that. There are schools who have people who are really passionate about CrossFit at those schools, and they are doing it with this ground up approach. There probably is a strategy that is both top down, or from the top and from the bottom up, that needs to be explored more. But I think we should really be looking at ways to get CrossFit into the hands of more youth. I think it's a great thing. In the open, we only have a few thousand people in the youth divisions. In each division, 2,000 or 3,000 people every year register. So even at that level, there's still not this huge interest. It's growing for sure, but it'll take time, and excited to see more children, more youth, more teens getting involved with CrossFit. Christian Jensen, what's the update on level 4? Also, is CrossFit planning on hiring more seminar staff in the US? So they are working on level 4. It's progressing. I think they're shooting for a Q4 launch. I'll find out from Nicole Carroll. But also I have to, Nicole Christensen had some questions about it. She wanted to ask me. So this is a good reminder. I need to hit her up so we can talk about that. Is CrossFit planning on hiring more seminar staff in the US? I don't know what their plans are in terms of hiring more seminar staff in the US. I will definitely hit up that team and see what their plans are. But, you know, the seminar staff and hiring in general has a lot to do with how many seminars we're conducting in a given area. So some places might be hiring a lot, some places might not be hiring at all. It fluctuates based on the current demand of seminars for a given area. Last week, the affiliate team announced the affiliate content kit. And so with the media team, they announced some tools that they're giving to affiliates, and they emailed all the affiliates. They emailed them with instructions on how to take some media and some content and put it out on their social media channels to help drive awareness of CrossFit and what CrossFit is doing in the box, in the gyms. And so it's a great kudos to both teams, to the media team and the affiliate team, for pulling this together and pulling it off, because that's the type of support that we should definitely be providing to the community, to the affiliates at large. So great job to all who got that done. If you have not seen it, if you're an affiliate and you have not seen it, email affiliatetools@crossfit.com and they'll make sure you see it. But again, pretty good videos, pretty good content, really good effort. It's a definite movement in the right direction for the type of things that we can be doing more for affiliates. Tuesday, went to the new office in Santa Cruz. It's in downtown Santa Cruz. It's much different than the Scotts Valley office. It's smaller. The Scotts Valley office was gigantic in size, so it's a cool little office. Met up with a number of the staff. They came to see Dawn, and Dawn talked to them and had a good hour and a half session with them. It was cool catching up with some of the staff that I haven't seen in a while. So I know he plans on going into the office on a more regular basis, and I will too in that new location. And as we grow out of it, who knows where we will expand to. Wednesday had a super cool afternoon session, 3 or 4 hours with Don and Greg. So we went to Greg's house, chatted for a couple hours, and then we went to lunch and had some Mexican food. Really good afternoon. They both enjoyed it. They both had great conversation. I just sat and listened, and happy that those two connected. I had a call with the London affiliate who was a little upset with the level system, and that he has to go back to a level 1 to maintain his qual. And we talked through that and talked about the level 2 being an option for his for re-upping, and it's not just a level 1. He can go to a level 2 to keep it, to stay current essentially, and talk about that whole model. He had some ideas to consider for how to do it a little differently, and stuff that others have talked about. CEUs for maintaining the credentials rather than CEUs just for the level 3. But there's a lot going on there. Nicole and her team are looking at a bunch of different options and doing a lot of good work. So more to come on that. On the call, it's interesting because he told me I'm sorry, not a London-based affiliate. He was based in the UK. He talked about how during COVID, he's been an affiliate for 10 or 12 years. He redid his whole model. And it's funny because Neil Maddox told me the same thing when we did our meeting with the Bay Area affiliates. Neil had a similar story. And what this guy did is he said he got rid of all the competitive nature and the competitive side of CrossFit, which he loves and he came from, for his gym, and just really focused on the everyman. And he said in the beginning it was rough because they had 30 members or so that were, really competitive and on into that side of competition, CrossFit, and he lost them all. But he said the type of gym that he has now and the type of clientele and the way the gym is running, he is much happier. And Neil said something similar, a little different take, but he basically pivoted towards executives and senior people like that, and he's much happier running his gym, smaller numbers, higher price point. And it was interesting to hear from these two how through the pandemic they kind of sat back and reassessed, which is what turned out to be a great opportunity to reassess your business, especially for people who are running gyms and they were shut down. They reassessed their business and then made adjustments, and they came out in a happier place. So that was a really cool conversation, and enjoyed hearing his ideas. Saturday, I had a 22 match at the ranch, the little 22 competition. So I shoot, as many of you know, I shoot long range rifle competitions, but I also do 22 long range rifle competitions. Mainly they're used as practice for the big guns, for the centerfire rifles, but really the 22 scene is becoming its own sport. I can do them here at the ranch. We had 21 shooters. That's the most shooters I've had here yet. And I can do them at the ranch because it's quiet. I couldn't do a centerfire, a full-size gun rifle match at the ranch. I also don't have the distances. But with these little 22s, we're stretching out to 300 yards. So our furthest target was 290. But these little 22s aren't just little 1022 Rugers. They're high-end, bolt-action guns that cost several $1,000s. So if you're ever interested in shooting a 22 match at the ranch, sign up, go to my TDC hunts, and I'll have links. And I give loaner guns out, so you can come shoot a $6,000 or $7,000 gun as a loaner gun for the match. I loaned a couple out this week. And finally, Wags and Weights. They're doing this cool thing with Doug the Dogo. So they're making these T-shirts, and they got the logo. They got a picture of Doug. They got her image on the shirt, and then their logo. And proceeds, I think a lot, or all the proceeds, I'm not sure. Proceeds are going to the Navy SEAL Foundation. So go check out wagsandweights.com. I think that's their website. Or go check out their Instagram and pick up one of these shirts and support the Navy SEAL Foundation and Doug. You're not sporting Doug, but you're just supporting Doug by sporting Doug. Cool. Well, thank you. Next week, or this week actually, probably Friday, I'll do comment section. I'll do a video just on the comments, and one of the reasons I want to do that is so I can dive more into the comments. When I do it in this format, I feel like 6, 7, 8 minutes, time to move on to the week in review. Now I'll be able to answer and address comments more thoroughly. So put your comments that you want answered on in this thread, and then Friday I'll aim to answer them. Thanks a lot.